Hello everyone. Today we can discuss about Odoo 15 payroll management. Odoo payroll module make it easy to organize all payroll activities in a company. It is the entire amount of wages that a firm pays to its employees. So the payroll management system is definitely required for managing all the process and records in a well settled manner. So we can move to the payroll module. In the home dashboard window, we can see the employee details like employee name, hire date, contract name, start date, status, and the number of contract. So it is possible to view the window according to the list view and in the Kanban view. So here we can see the details according to the company, department, and status. So, like the employees, the payslip allows to manage the contract and the salary attachments, which are the two main aspects required for managing the payslips. So, we can go to the contract. Here in the contract window, we can see the stages of contract like new, running, expired, and cancelled. So, the contract can be customized using the filters and group by option. So, we can create a new contract. Here we can enter the contract reference, employee's name, contract start date and date, salary structure type, working schedule, department, job position, and here we can choose the HR responsible. So we have already discussed about the contract before. Now let's have a look at the salary attachment feature. The salary attachment feature is a new option included in Odoo 15 payroll. So it will manage all the configured salary attachments and details in the list format. So here we can see the details like employee's name, description, type, monthly amount, start date, and the status. So here we can create a new salary attachment. For that, here we can choose an employee, and here we can provide the description. And here we can choose the type like attachment of salary, assignment of salary, and child support. And here we can set the start date, and here we can provide the monthly amount and the total amount also. So it's a warning, a similar attachment has been found. So it is also possible to upload a file from here. So after providing all the details, we can save this. So we have discussing about the salary attachments. Now let's move on to the configuration settings. Here in the accounting section, we have the option to enable the payroll entry. So when it is enabled, you can enter the post payroll slips in the accounting, and it is also possible to enable the payroll SCPA. So it is to create the SCPA payment, and here we can see the advantages related to the Belgium localization. So here we can see the details like commission on target, fuel card, representation fees, internet, mobile, and so on. And here we can see the option to configure ONSS code. And here we can see the company information, withholding taxes, exemption details, etc. So here in the time off section, we can choose the deferred time off. So for that, we have the option to choose the responsible person here. So under the configuration tab, we can view the options like work country, salary package configurator, Belgium, DMFA work location, etc. So now let's move on to the work entry types. In this window, we can see the details like name, code, and color. So it helps to configure various work entry types. So here we can enter the work entry type name and provide a code. And here we can choose the color for the display. And here in the display in payslip section, we can set the rounding as no rounding, half day and day. And here in the valid for advantages section, we can enable the meal voucher, representation fee, private car reimbursement, etc. And here in the reporting section, we can enable the unforeseen absence. So that is, the unforeseen absence are the provable absence that required after the employee report to work. So if the work entry is checked as unforeseen, it will be counted to the absenteeism at work report. And here we can choose the unpaid in structure type. So here we can see the structure types. And also in the time off options, we can enable the time off and the keep time off right options. So after providing all the details, you can save this. Now let's discuss how to configure working times in Odoo Payroll module. So goes to the working time. It is the essential aspect of increasing the productivity of the organization. So here the window displays the details like working time rate, associated company, and the number of contract using it. So we can create a new working time. Here we can provide the details like company, average hour per day, time zone, full time, work time rate, etc. And here we can see the working hours details. So let's move on to the salary structure type. If you're creating a new contract with a newly recruited employee, it is important to define the salary structure type in the contract. So here in the window, we can see the details like structure type, default schedule pay, default working hours, wage type, regular pay structure. And also we have the options to add the custom field here. So now we can create a new structure type. So for that, here we can enter the structure type like employee. And here we can choose the country and the wage type. So here we have two options like monthly fixed wage and hourly wage. And here we can provide the details like default schedule pay, working hours, regular pay structure, default working entry type. So here we can see the options for work entry type. And here we can see the structure in this window, and it is also possible to access the window structure from the configuration. So the salary structure is the necessary aspect for determining each employee salary based on their job position and to create payslip for every payroll. So it can be used for a whole department or other groups. So we can create a new salary structure. So for that, here we can enter the structure name. Let it be ABC. And here we can choose the type like employee, worker, and also we can create a new type. And here we can enable the use workday lines option, and here we can choose the country, and here we can choose the report scheduled pay as monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, and so on. And here we can choose the salary journal. Here in the salary rules tab, we can see the details like basic salary, gross, deduction, etc. And here we can see the code, category, and the partner. In the work unpaid work entry types, we can enter the work entry type like from this. And in the other input tab, we can choose the input line like a deduction, reimbursement, attachment of salary, etc. So after providing all the details, you can save this. Now let's move on to the salary rules. The payroll module system describes the salary rule in a useful manner. So it helps for the computation of salary amounts for different salary categories. So here we can see the name of the salary rules, code, category, and partner. And it is possible to view according to the list view and the campaign view. And also we can use the customized features like filters, group by, and favorite options. So just we can create a salary rule. So let it be a net salary. Here we can provide the category like basic allowance, gross deduction, net, company partition gross, and we have many options in the category. And here we can provide a code for the salary rules. And so here we can set a sequence to arrange a calculation of sequence. And here we have the active field. So if it is disabled, you can hide the salary rules without removing it. And when we comes to the general tab, we can provide the details like conditions, computation, and company contributions. So here we can choose the condition based on always true, range, and Python expression. So if we choose the always true, it can be set to make available the relevant wage rule for all the salary calculation. And in the case of range, we have to fill the options like minimum range and maximum range. And if we choose the Python expression, it will depict the Odoo developed equation by default. Likewise, we can choose the amount type like percentage, fixed amount, and Python code. And here we can provide the quantity and fixed amount. And here in the company contribution section, we can choose the partner. So we can save this. Now let's move on to the salary rule parameters. So it enables to create and manage various rule parameters. So to create a new salary rule parameter, just click on the icon, and here we can provide the name for these salary rule parameters. So we can create a demo one, and here we can provide the code. So here we can set the rule parameter by applying the options, and here we can choose the from date and the code. Now let's move on to the other input types. Here we can see the details like description, code, availability in structure. So we can create a new input type. For that, here we can provide the description, code, and the availability in structure. Now let's move on to the advantages. It helps to set up the additional compensation benefits. So here we can see the pre-configured advantages details like name, advantage field, and salary structure type. So here we can provide create a new advantage. Here in the advantage field, we can choose the contract linked to the advantage. So here we can provide the cost field, advantage type, salary structure type. And here we have the options to enable the impact net salary. And here in the advantage unit of measure, we can choose the options like these percentage, and currency. And here we can choose the activity type. And it is also possible to fold the field to enable or disable based upon the requirements. And here we can choose the display type and the requested documents. So here we can choose the template to sign, and here we can provide the description for the advantages. So if you want to hide the description, just enable the option here. So now we can discuss about the personal info. So it will allow us to configure the personal information about the employee to the salary slips. So here in the window we can provide the it provide the details like name, related field, salary structure type. And here we can choose the customizable features like filters, group by, and favorite options. So here in the personal info form, we can enter the informations like the birth date, and here we can enter the details like applies on employee, private home address, bank account. Here we can provide the related field, info type, salary structure type, placeholder, helper, and here we can choose the position as main panel and side panel. And also we can choose the display type from here. And here we have the option to enable or disable the age required and the impact net salary field. Now let's move on to the resume. It is the beneficial tool that allows to add the resume types to the salary structure. So here we can add the information, resume information, and here we can choose the category, salary structure type, value type, and here we can provide the fixed value. And here we have the option to enable the impact monthly total, and here we can choose the advantage unit of measure in days, percentage, and currency. So far we have been discussing about the options in configuration. Now let's have a look at the menus included in the work entry tabs. So here we can see the options like work entries, conflict, and time of the report. So when we comes to the work entries, in this window we can see the details of different employees, and it can be viewed according to the day, week, and month wise. And it is also possible to check the previous or the next work entry types of the employee. And here we can view the work entries of the respective employees in a reporting aspect. So the yellow marked attendance record indicate the absence or time off of the employee. So by clicking on the respective one, you can view the details. So here we can see the details of the respective employees. So let's comes to the conflict. In the window, the conflict in work entries is arranged in a well manner. As you know, the time of that has not been validated will comes under the conflict window. So here we have the regenerating option. So after solving the conflict, you can click on the generate payslip icon. And here we can use the customizable features like filters, group by, and favorite. So here we have the options to group by the work entries, and here we can view the window according to the gun view, list view, calendar view, and in the pivot view. Now let's move on to the time of to report. The time of report has a significant role while managing the payroll. So here in the window, we can view all the time of details that are needed to compute in the next payslip along with the status. So here we have the right to approve or refuse the time off from the window itself. So here we can see the window in the list view, Kanban view, calendar view, activity view, and also in the gun view. And it is possible to view according to the status and department. Now we can discuss how Odoo allows to generate the payslips. So here in the window we can see the details like reference, employee name, batch name, company, basic wage, net wage, and status. So we can check how to create a payslip. For that, here we can choose the name of an employee. And here we can set the period and the batch. And here we can provide the structure like regular pay, worker pay, and any option from here. And under the workday and input, we can list out the total worked hours based on working schedule selected on the contract. Likewise, we can also enter the input type. So while clicking on the add a line, we can choose the option from here. And also we can provide the description and the count. And When we comes to the salary computation tab, it will helps to list out the salary computation done on the payslip based upon the salary structure and salary rule defined for the employee. So after providing the employee's name, contract and structure, just click on the compute sheet icon, and here we can see the salary computer details displays here. And in the other info tab, we can provide the payslip name, company, and here we can provide the options available here, and here we can provide an internal note for the payslip. Now let's move on to the all payslip. Here also we can see the details like reference, employee, batch name, company, basic wage, net wage, status, etc. And if you want to create a employee payslip, can enter the form here. Now let's move on to the batches. Payslip batches is used to generate payslip for a batch of employees. So here we can see the details of like name, date, from date to credit note, status and company. So if you want to create a payslip batch, just enter the batch name. And here we can set the period, and here we have the options to enable the credit note. Now let's move on to the reporting aspect of payroll module. So just goes to the payroll analysis. Here in the Odoo Payroll analysis window gives the details of payment carried out in the Odoo Payroll system. So here in the window it provides all the data representations like graph view and pivot view. And here we can sort the details in the ascending and descending way. And it is possible to choose the measures and the group by option. So here we can view the payroll analysis according to the employee, department, job position, company, and also we have the options to add the custom group. So here in the window we can see the details like average net wage, average basic wage, average gross wage, pay slips, and so on. And here also we can choose the measures, and it is also possible to insert the details in the spreadsheet. Here we can view the window according to the dashboard view, pivot view, and in the graph view. Now let's comes to the work entry analysis. Here it gives a tabular report. Here we can access the icons like measure, and here we can choose according to days and count. And it is possible to insert in spreadsheet, and here we can choose the icons like flip axis, expand all, and the download excel access form. And here we can choose the filters, group by, comparison, favorite options. Now let's move on to the salary attachment report. So here the salary attachment helps to generate the salary reports on various employees. So the measure tab allows to create reports different measures. So here we can choose the measures, and here we can choose the filters, group by, comparison and favorite options. So we have been discussing about the Odoo 15 payroll management. So that's all about the video. Thank you for watching.